Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, welcome to our another lecture of International Business Management, and I am your instructor, class instructor, Dr. Adnan Makbul. Today we will start our fourth chapter, the meaning and the dimensions of culture. That how culture, one country's culture, can impact on our business. So in this lecture we will discuss the word of international business, and also we will discuss the what is the cross-border mergers and acquisitions. So what is culture? Culture acquires knowledge that people use to interpret, experience and generate social behavior. This knowledge forms values, create attitudes and influence behavior. The word culture, that is, comes from the Latin word, and the meaning is humans interaction, that how one person can interact with another person. So that is why we say that culture from country to country that can be changed, that one country's culture is different from other cultures. In our lecture of international business management, the word culture is acquired knowledge that people use to interpret, experience and generate social behavior. This knowledge forms values, create attitudes and influence behavior. Most scholars of culture would agree on the following characteristics of culture, such as learned, shared, transgenerational, symbolic, patterned and adoptive. So what is learned? Culture is not inherited or biological based. It is acquired by learn and experience, that with the experience and by knowing the other people, that we learn from each other. Then shared as a member of a group, organization or society. Share culture, it is not specific to single individual, but it is a share of one society with the another society. So how they can be shared with each other of their culture. That includes their characteristics, their ideologies, their religion and many other things that can be included in there. So transgenerational culture is cumulative, passed down from one generation to the next. That from one generation to the next means that transgenerational, that can be transfer from one generation to another generation. So this is why it is, the word is transgenerational, that passed down from one generation to another generation. Such as we say Pakistani peoples, how about their culture? Because before the independence of subcontinent, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, these people were living together, and many of the symbols and many of the characteristics are the same. That is why we say that in the subcontinent the culture is same, and that is transgenerational, because our grandparents, our parents, and then we are also using and adopting that kind of culture. Symbolic is culture is based on human capacity to symbolize or use one thing to represent another. So sometimes we use one thing to represent the another thing. Then pattern has culture, has a structure and integrated. Change in one part will bring change in another. So adoptive means the culture is based on human capacity to change or adopt. Such as as a rational people, we can adopt another people's culture. When we are going to another country to invest our business for FDI or for investment, then at that time how we can adopt their technologies, how we can adopt their behavior or their society, their learning, their sharing. So these things are included in our part. Then when we are going to invest in another country, at that time the nature of culture, we must understand that one, not only about their society but also about their the businesses, that how they are running their business, such as mergers and acquisitions. That is also a part of important part of our study, which can be influenced there. So what is mergers? So the merger, when two companies often same size decided to move forward as a single new company instead of operating business separately. So when two companies, they decided to have a new company by uh, by uh, co- by collaboration. So that is known as merger, that two companies, when they decide to move forward as a single new company instead of operating business separately. And the acquisition, the cause when one company takes over to another company and establish itself as a owner of that business. So that is known as acquisition, that one company that can be a part of another company, so that will be known as acquisition. So this is a difference between mergers and acquisitions. So mergers is that when two companies, they decided to have a new business, a new company, while acquisition is that when one company can take over to another company, that is known as acquisition. So why we have discussed about the mergers and acquisitions? Because we are discussing the nature of culture, because the culture that can be impact on our business, and that can be also influenced there. So that is why we have discussed this, because different cultures exist in the world, and understanding of the impact of culture and behavior is critical of the study of international business management. If international managers do not know something about the culture of the countries they deal with, the result can be quite that can be disastrous. For example, a partner of one of the New York's leading private banking, cultural diversity. There are many ways to examining the culture differences and their impact on international business management. Culture can also influence technological transfers, managerial attitudes, managerial ideology, and even government relation. Perhaps most important, culture affects how people think and behave. The most of the culture values in United States, Japan, Arabic countries, subcontinent, in China, Russia, as a look, as close look, we say that there is a huge difference, great deal of difference among these countries. Culture effect, and also there are many other ideologies that can impact our businesses. That is why we say that the chapter of business is very important in our discussion.